next meeting,
Or next
I
week.
hate making vows or even promises. It will be for one of the next weeks.
Okay, one of the next
We
week.
will see.
But our topic, hindi tapos na last time eh. But today,
Last week's topic was not yet finished.
for the benefit of ano, yeah, what does
One reason why I don't give
sila, Sister Bethany, kayo yung nandito. Makinig kayo dahil sa inyo to.
one reason why I don't give part 2 today is that we have one visitor here who didn't hear part 1. So we welcome Sister Birdie Pamelino.
From Norway.
Hello.
Norwegian. She came from Norway, where she is an au pair. I don't know if you know what that is. We know what it is because she has been our au pair also for 1 year. You can explain that after services if you're interested. What is an au pair? I did not consult with her, but off the record, she is single. So this is, I think, a good introduction to my topic. Principles for marriage. Actually, the topic will be basically about marriage, divorce, and remarriage. We're not interested in what we think about it or what the government thinks about it, but what Yahweh's word has to say about it. Another reason why I chose this topic is I noticed a very lively interest last week through the questions asked in this very topic. I guess most of us know that not all sacred name movement groups teach exactly the same on this thing, and that's to put it mildly. Well, we will go through scripture. What I will do is, actually I will go through 1 Corinthians 7, the 7th chapter of 1 Corinthians. But as we go through the chapter, we will jump back and forth to know what Paul is talking about. So we will start simply in 1 Corinthians 7, verse 1. The whole chapter is about this topic of principles for marriage. It's the most detailed explanation in all of Scripture, so that's a good place to start. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1. And, maybe... Well, does someone want to read, or should I read?
Let them read the
One now? One?
one to our
One. Just one.
And concerning the matters you wrote to me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
Already at the start of this chapter, actually the translation leads to confusion. So what is Paul doing here? So he says, concerning the matters you wrote to me, and then it says, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
That's right.
Well, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. First of all, is in all likelihood, actually I'm sure of it, these are not Paul's words. He's quoting the letter that they wrote to him.
No comment mo na sa picture.
He's quoting the letter they wrote to him, and actually it should be a question. It should be the question they were asking, the following question: is it good for a man not to touch a woman? That's their question.
Other will offend that.
Actually, that's the topic of this entire chapter. Is it good for a man not to touch a woman? And he's answering that question. So make no mistake, he's not making the statement, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. That's their question. There should be a question mark. Apparently in Greek, just as in Hebrew, our scriptures contain points, commas, double points, question marks, quotation marks, and what have you, punctuation, which clarifies the text greatly. But neither in the Hebrew text, nor in the Greek text, nor in the Aramaic text, there are any commas, points, and there's no punctuation. So these are inventions of the translators. And in Greek, well, it's by the context that you must know, well, is this an affirmative sentence or is it a question? It makes perfect sense here to make the question. They are asking him a question. Is it good for a man not to touch a woman? So starting verse 2 is Paul's answer to their question. And again, well, will someone read verses 2 and 3 now? 1 Corinthians 7, verses 2 and 3.
But because of warring, let each one have his own wife, and let each woman have her own husband. Let the husband render to his wife what is her due, and likewise also the wife to her husband.
So